Hi there, my name is Cynthia and I run a website called digimorph.com where I focus on web analytics and specifically Google Analytics data and how to use it, even though you might not have a statistics degree or you feel like you're completely a right-brained person. I'm here to help you with your data, and today I want to talk about how to get started with your Google Analytics, because so many times, I've heard people say that they want to start using their Google Analytics. They're interested in the data and the tool. It's a free tool, but they just have no idea where to start. I totally get that because the tool isn't exactly designed to help us in that way. So I wanted to create a video to help you get started and know exactly what you should be focusing on when you are just newbie to the tool, or you've kind of looked at it but you haven't really made any progress in terms of how it can help you. When it comes to Google Analytics, I've heard many of you mention that you want to get into the tool, but you just don't know what to do when you open it up. And I get it. You're busy. You don't have time to kind of fool around. You just want to get straight to the point. So today I wanted to give you a tip on the first step that you should be taking before even opening up Google Analytics on your computer. And you might be like, what? What do you mean I don't need to open it up on my computer? That's right. The first step actually happens kind of far away from the computer. Maybe you do it on the computer, but it actually has nothing to do with Google Analytics directly. And I want to help you with that first step. So what is this mysterious first step? This first step is focused on understanding what has been going on with your site in the last 30 days. So instead of going to the tool and just kind of bursting in and kind of like being, hey, what's going on here? I want you to take a notebook, your favorite notebook, or open a Google Doc, whatever feels comfortable to you. And I want you to write down the last 30 days of content that you've published. So if you have a blog, you're going to write down your articles. If you have a podcast, you're going to write down your episodes. If you have a gallery of images, I want you to write the images that you've been sharing, or maybe you have some resources or articles. That's fine too. Just write whatever has been going on and what you've intentionally been sharing in the last 30 days. Next to each title, you're going to put the date that it was published. You're going to also put specifically what you shared. So if you did any sort of strategy, with blogs, there's a lot of strategies about putting images and then putting text. So anything that you intentionally tried and you intentionally remember experimenting with, I want you to document that. So for example, maybe you tried putting a video with the images. So you're going to put that, video images. Doesn't need to be a huge amount of text, just something simple that documents exactly what you tried. Maybe it's an articles page with just videos or just images, or maybe you tried an infographic. Maybe you tried a kind of tutorial style article and you want to see if people are interested in that. So all that kind of strategy that you're doing around your content, I want you to document that. And you might already have this somewhere else. So if you do have another document where you have your content laid out, great. Just pull that out and start to organize exactly what's been happening in the last 30 days. Another thing I want you to pay attention to is at the end of each piece of content, what are you asking people to do on your site? So in general, this is called call to action. So are you getting people to click back to your services page? Are you getting them to opt in to something for free? Are you getting them to opt into a free resource? Or maybe you're doing nothing, and that's okay too. So whatever you have as kind of the call to action or the opt-in, I want you to also write that out. So the final step, which I think is the most important, is write down the themes or ideas that you expressed in this specific piece of content. So a lot of the times we play around with different messages in our brand, in our business, and we need to know what's working and what's not working. I want you to write down for each piece of content, what did you want to get out? Whether it happened or not, whether the audience got it or not, what did you want to express? And be really intentional about this. Maybe it wasn't something that you specifically thought about when you hit publish, but look back and see these themes come through. Maybe you wanted to connect with your audience on a more personal level, or maybe it's a helpful how to do post. So you just want to be super to the point and kind of create a to-do list for someone to look at. So whatever was your intention and the themes around that, I want you to write that down as well, because all the content that we publish usually goes pretty close with the messaging of our brand, and we want to see which of these posts are resonating most with the people coming to our website. You might be wondering, why are you getting me to do all of this? I'm going to tell you in a second. Taking this step is going to be key to understanding what your Google Analytics is telling you. And this is why. If you go to your Google Analytics empty-handed, just kind of going in and looking at a report that tells you blog content popularity, you're going to see which blog content was the most popular in the last 30 days. But you're not going to have the context you need to see what you did that was successful with that blog content. If you just look at the data without any previous work in terms of what you did and the work you did with each specific piece of content, you're not going to be able to say, oh, I remember, in this piece of content, I actually tried this, and that's probably why it was successful. Or the opposite can happen. Maybe you didn't realize you tried something, and then you see that it's the most popular post, and you're like, oh, wow, I should do that again. I'm encouraging with this first step, it's taking the time, and it does take a little bit of time. Honestly, maybe looking back at, if you publish once a week, looking back at all your content might take you 20, 30 minutes to really remember everything you did. But it's worth it, because the next step will be going into your Google Analytics and seeing exactly what worked and filling in the blanks to the data, right? Please make sure that you do this step correctly. The other thing I wanted to mention is that I'm going to be running an Instagram challenge where I'm going to be showing you the next step to this, which will be getting into a specific report in Google Analytics. So I know that that's kind of the point of all this, but this first step, I really want to highlight the importance of it, and I want you to take your time with it. But if you want to join me and get into this specific report a little bit more, look at what you do after you look at the report, which can be confusing as well. Join me for my Instagram challenge by going to digimorphs.com, and you can get updates about what each prompt. So it's going to be 10 days of prompting, and the point is to get you started in Google Analytics, get you feeling good about your data, get you into at least one report, since that's a nice place to start, and it's going to be focusing on your blog content or your whatever content you're publishing right now on your website. I hope that you found that useful, and I hope you feel ready to get out there and to start looking at a tool like Google Analytics with a little bit more information. If you have any questions, just let me know, and just comment below.